Another day, another combo, and with this multiple combo brew, I flew through Platinum, destroying many lands and insta-winning my way to an unbeaten run on the ladder. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today I'm using one card that combos with 3 Planeswalkers to instantly win you games and even can turn you to a land destruction deck. Firstly though, if you'd all be so kind as to like and subscribe below to not miss out on future Bloomburrow brews. But onto this deck, and today I'm comboing the outstanding Innkeeper's talent with several cards to produce some amazing results. As you probably know, Innkeeper's talent is a 2-mana enchantment class that puts a +1/+1 counter on your creature as you enter combat, but when you level it up to level 3, it says if you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, you put twice as many instead. This means your Planeswalkers enter with double their loyalty, and we have 3 today that will automatically be able to ultimate. Firstly, Vraska. For just 5 mana and 2 life, you can ultimate immediately for 9 poison counters to your opponent's dome, and if your talent is still lying around, that'll be 18 poison counters, an instant kill, and quite easy to pull off, and it gets around your opponents having loads of life too. The other Planeswalkers, which are way more fun in my opinion, are Wrenn and Liliana. Wrenn allows you to, amongst other things, immediately ultimate, giving you an emblem that lets you cast permanents and play lands from your graveyard for the rest of the game. Liliana's ultimate is an effect allowing you to split your opponent's permanents up into 2 piles, and then they'll have to sacrifice a pile. What's great here is that Liliana will die when you ultimate her, but your emblem allows you to then just replay it from your graveyard and do Liliana's ultimate again. You've now basically locked your opponent out of the game, and you get to turn yourself into a pseudo land destruction deck, ultimating Liliana several times each turn. The rest of the deck helps with the super fast meta and discard strategies we face in a lot of our games. Skulldwellers, Deep-Cavern Bats, and the ever so useful Phyrexian Fleshgorgers, all annoying for your opponents and all easy to recast from your graveyard later. Pillage lets you find your Planeswalkers, and the spicy but janky Baloth gains you life and is great against discard. Interaction today with Cut Down, Choking Miasma, and Virtue, all selected specifically for the meta. 24 lands, and that is the deck. So when I played this today, I flew through Platinum with ease. The addition of the extra Planeswalkers really helps when Vraska isn't available. We're also great at grinding out a mid-range Golgari win if needed to. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this deck below. For those who wish to support the channel further, you can do so by checking out my Patreon. It's where I post unseen footage of janky brews, amazing combo wins, or even just some fun games that never make it to YouTube. Shout out to these folks who have done so at the credit level, and you can find the link in the description below. So stick around to the end of the video when I will go over any thoughts that I have on this deck and any changes I might make. But in the meantime, let's see how I got on today on the ladder with this spicy brew. Alright, on the play, and we have Talent and Baloth in our opening hand. Oh my days, please opponent, turn 1, Hopeless Nightmare, please. I love this Baloth. No, they don't. I'm going to link my Baloth deck in the corner here. If you haven't seen it, you want to go and watch it because we get to turn 0 Baloths several times. So much discard in the meta at the minute. This hand is weird, so I'm going to take the Virtue. I don't actually know what they're up to. They look like some Golgari ramp into some massive creature spells. Fleshgorger. It's a good card, but I just want to get some mana. Play our talent. Pop a counter on the bat. Tap for 2. Gain 2. It's a good start from us. They do have a heaped harvest, I can see. Wonder if they go for that. They do. It's a kind of a ramp spell. It's a food that when it ETBs, you get to put a basic onto the battlefield from your deck. And then when it leaves the battlefield, you gain 3 life and also do the land thing again. So the question is, what do we want to do? I'm going to go for Wrenn. And I'm going to just minus it. I'm looking for a land. I just want to be hitting lands every single turn. Sure, I mean, that's good. So we want a untapped land here so that we can... We'll just go for a swamp. But this will be all colours because of Wrenn. So we're just going to upgrade our talent here. Give our bat ward. Put another counter on it and smash. Put it down to 15 now. Now we can ultimate our talent and start upping Wrenn if we want to. See what we're up against. Shoulder's Edict deals with our Planeswalker. Okay, sure. I don't mind that. We got a land out of it, and I think that is important. And Liliana, okay. Okay, I mean... Liliana next turn is going to come out with 6 loyalty counters, and we're going to split their permanents in half. If we'd played that, if that Realmbreaker was still in our hand, we could have ultimated that first to then play Lily back from the graveyard the following turn and loop our opponent into basically losing all of their land. We've turned into a semi-land destruction deck. So we'll just go for Lily here. We'll ultimate this immediately. Alright, opponent. We'll put the swamps in one pile. We'll keep the green mana in the other. So this is the kind of plan B for our deck with Innkeeper's talent. You don't have to always be going for the Vraska. I mean, that is a way to win the game, but surely we're just going to win the game ourselves now with just a bunch of small creatures whilst they have no mana available. Okay, they do have a spell though, Virtue. Gets rid of our creature. They go up to 15. It's a Mortuary. Have a look. Oh my days, we have Wrenn? Oh, next turn is going to be so sweet. It's what I've been put on the earth to do today. Let's play this Baloth now. I don't know if you can see the line, but we're going to play Wrenn. We're going to ultimate it immediately. Then we're going to play a land from our grave. Then we're going to play Liliana again. Ultimate that immediately. And then we're going to half their mana again. And we are going to just do the same thing every single turn. Keep them on 1 mana. They are absolutely going to hate to see this. So we play Forest here. We drop Lily. We minus it for 6 immediately. Yeah, opponent has definitely seen the loop and they are scooped it up. Alright then, on the play with our... It's a full house, isn't it, of Cut Down and Skulldwellers. I mean, it's not the greatest hand I've ever seen, but we're going to keep it anyway. Who knows? Opponent with a... Okay, a tapped Azorius land. Oh, we get something relevant. We'll get the bat down and we'll see what's going on. Alright, Row, Torch. Alright, this looks like Jeskai, kind of control, prowessy kind of deck. Alright, let's get rid of the Torch the Tower, as that is a way to deal with the bat. They don't have any plays for a couple of turns. Knowing that they've got 2 board wipes in their hands means that I'm not going to necessarily just throw down all my creatures. And we find a land, and that's all I want to make sure I hit. They did play a Storm Chaser's talent, so it looks to me like they're going to try and go very wide with a load of Otters, and then try and kind of out-prowess us. It's going to be a fun game to play against. I think we'll just get down 1 of these Skulldwellers, because we can block their 1-1 with this. Save our cut downs for something a bit later on. Yeah, no attacks for them unless they want to lose their 1-1. Okay, well, sure. I have no problems in that at all. So, Caretaker's Talent. I'll pop this card on the board. I haven't really seen it too much, but it's going to push their tokens. It's going to start becoming a token lord later on. And there's our Vraska. So, we just need to just hang in there now. Keep our life total relevant. Make sure that we stay on top of their board a little bit. This could be a bit of a grind here as we find a Mortuary. It's nice. Surveil, hopefully into another land. Or Fleshgorger. Okay, well, I don't think creatures are great, especially as they've got a Sunfall in their hand and an ill-timed explosion. So we'll just keep attacking with our bat. We've also got Restless Cottage. Ratcatcher Trainee. Okay, this is a spicy little brew by our opponent here. Draws a card from the talent. Sure. Okay, they level up their talent. So when this becomes level 2, create a token that's a copy of... Alright, well, we'll just let them target their thing and then we'll just cut it down. That's why we're just saving the cut downs for when we need them. Okay, creature tokens get +2/+2. Alright, I mean... It's going to be a problem later on, but right now it's not too bad as we find a Fleshgorger, which I still don't want to play in the face of our opponent's Sunfall. So we'll just keep smashing with our bat, playing the control game ourselves, really. Okay, Lightning Helix on a bat. Okay, I went to cut my own bat down. That's kind of a reflex there to save the life, but we're trying to poison them, so not too bothered really about their life totals. Okay, we can take one from this rat. And another Caretaker's Talent, okay. Sure, I mean, they're missing land drops. Well, there we go. Pillage the Bog at last. Yeah, I think well, we could plot it, but I think we'll just go for it. And there's our talent. Alright, there we go. We can play this now and then start leveling it up. Takes a couple of turns for us to win. We really need a land off the top so that we can get this talent all the way through to its ultimate next turn and then play Vraska and ultimate that to win the game. Opponent levels up their talent. This time I can't take out their rat. They draw 2 cards because a rat into the battlefield or a token into the battlefield. And Row Crackling Wit. Okay. I mean, they're off to a decent kind of start. We find our land. There we go. Alright, opponent, you are dead next turn. You need a counter spell, or you need to deal with this Innkeeper's talent. Or kill us. And I'm sure they can in their colours, but they only have 1 prowessing creature. So, I'm interested to see what the opponent can do here. Over to you. First of all, they're making a 1-1 with Row. Draws them 2 cards. Wonder if they're digging for a counter spell. Stormtaker's Talent makes another otter. Ratcatcher, okay. 2 more rats. I don't think they've got it. I think next turn they might be able to win, but we can just throw down Vraska here. Pay its Phyrexian mana. That's all we need to do. And they've only got red-white mana open, so we still have priority. Let's do them for 18 poison counters here. They can't win now. This is on the stack. Unless they can do 14 damage with 1 mana, we've definitely won this game. First game. Yeah. Really happy with this performance so far. Just hanging in there, gaining life, controlling the board, and then winning the game. Alright then, on the draw, no green mana, but we do have 2 talents, which we'll keep. One with Swamp and Hopeless Nightmare. Okay. Fortunately, we have no Obstinate Baloth in our opening hand, otherwise that would have been a bit of a Hopeless Nightmare for our opponent. We do get to play a Skulldweller down. Skulldweller, pretty relevant card. It's Toxic 1, and Death Touch actually is a slight problem for our opponents, especially if we do have Innkeeper's Talent up. Put it with Tiny Bones. And a Fleshgorger, another very relevant card in the meta at the minute. Lifelink is fantastic. Opponent has a Beseech, Liliana, and a Malicious Eclipse. I wish we had this Baloth. I think we'll go for the Eclipse, especially as we only have 1 toughness creatures on board, and we'll hold the Skulldweller back to block the Tiny Bones. Or maybe not. I guess not, because otherwise they're going to just play Lily and make us sack that bat. They get to play my Innkeeper's Talent though from the graveyard, but they can't level that up unless they are a secret Golgari deck. Okay, land for us is nice. And yeah, I mean, let's go for our own talent. My advice for this deck is to get this down ASAP and get it leveled up immediately, and then we can start basically just looking for a top deck to win the game. I'm getting there with our bat here. We have a cut down to deal with Tiny Bones now. They do have a Beseech though, which is slightly problematic, as they can get rid of their Hopeless Nightmare. But I guess the scrying wouldn't work because they're going to be searching as well. But I wonder what they look for. Literally could look for anything in their whole deck. Who knows? Yeah, they scry one to the top, one to the bottom, but now they've got to search their library. So what are we expecting? A board wipe? Shelly for Phyrexian Obliterator? Bloodletter? Any of those is a bit annoying for us, but they might have a card in their deck that can deal with an enchantment, which if they've got one they want to be looking for. They elect not to play it though. And we'll just take out Tiny Bones as the talent triggers. Another land. Okay, I'm fine with lands. We'll definitely level up our talent here. So if the opponent found a board wipe, like a 5-mana board wipe, the question is, do I really want to play this Fleshgorger? I think I'm going to, because if they've got a board wipe, that's going to force them into using it. Let's do it. If they didn't find a board wipe, or they don't have the 5th mana, then we're really threatening to win the game just with these creatures we've got. Hopeless Nightmare, okay. Gets rid of my land, sure. Liliana is going to make me sacrifice, I would have thought. Get rid of this Skulldweller, sure. And a land. Seems okay. 5th land. Surveil. Get rid of the land. Upgrade our talent. And we can smash the opponent. We'll leave Liliana alone. I'm not worried about that too much now. But yeah, we've got 8 damage here. 8 life linking damage. Opponent down to 6. Okay, we're up to 25. We've certainly done a good job here on this mono black deck. I wonder what card they found. It must be in their hand. It must be a board wipe, surely. They didn't cast the Beseech, so you'd think it would be a card over 4 mana. And I guarantee you that's what it was. Aklazot's Deepest Betrayal, and I can already see we've got lethal because we can just use the trigger from the talent onto our Fleshgorger, which has Menace, get in there for 7 damage to our opponent, and we've taken them out with just a very fair Innkeeper's talent deck there. Nice. Alright, on the draw. I have quite a weak hand here. 2 tap lands. We do have the Mortuary. We could potentially find us a land, so I think we'll keep it. We don't really have any combo pieces. We do have Pillage as well, which is pretty nice. Fabled Passage, another tap land. Do I want that? I think I was going to bin it for the minute. Bin it for the minute. Next turn we have a Skulldweller. But I really want to draw some action. I want to get closer to my Innkeeper. Maybe that was a mistake, who knows. Vine Reap Mentor for our opponent. 3-2 makes a food when it ETBs and when it dies. It's just a 3-2. Let's just play our Skulldweller here. I don't know if keeping that passage on top was the right or wrong thing to do. If we can ultimate Wrenn, it's definitely a good thing to have in our graveyard. But I guess it would have been in our graveyard anyway. Maybe I should have kept it. Who knows. We'll definitely block the Mentor though. They make a food. So they could be a snake deck, because they're gaining a lot of food quite quickly. Or a cookie deck. Okay, and there is Wrenn, sure. Alright, we're going to pillage and we're going to look for a land. I mean, it's a little bit risky. We do have one in the waste, which we'll play, and then we'll cut down this cookie whilst we have the chance. Okay. Cookie down. Opponent's on technically 29 life at the minute, with the 3 foods they have. And they elect to just pass the turn. We play a Swamp. So if we play the Bat, they're going to probably just remove it straight away. I think I'm going to continue digging with Wrenn and Realmbreaker. They need a very specific card to deal with this. And we'll just continue looking for our combo pieces. This is the way I like to play it. And there is a Innkeeper. It was on top, so it would have been our next draw. We definitely want that one. Yeah, I mean, kind of okay with where we are right now. They do have a Restless Cottage, I guess, so they could, if they have an untapped land, just destroy Wrenn. For the first time in a long time, I'm not actually playing like a go for the throat or anything in our deck today. Planning on just kind of outpacing them with life gain. Okay, I mean, sure, there's Vraska. Alright, we just need to survive and win. I think I think I'm just going to upgrade the Innkeeper's talents. If we draw an untapped land next turn... Wait, if we draw an untapped land in the next 2 turns, we're going to win the game. We're going to upgrade our talent again next turn, so that's dealt with. And then we have our Vraska, so we'll just be looking to fire that off when we have a moment. So yeah, fingers crossed, this is looking pretty good for our little deck here. The Cottage comes in. They can gain as much life as they want and do as much damage to us as they want for the minute. Okay, another talent. Am I happy to go down to 11 life and upgrade this talent? Level it up? I think so. We haven't got much else going on. This means 1 untapped land next turn and we get to drop Vraska and ultimate it straight away. They must know what's going on right now. If they just want to keep attacking us with that Restless Cottage, I don't care. We are going to be okay with that. Yep, looks like that is their plan here. Maybe they just don't have any ways to interact with our combo. Okay, Vine Reap Mentor makes another food. Okay, Bilious Skulldweller, sure. Still no land for us here. I think I'm going to drop the bat, see what's going on upstairs. Mentor Gix's command and feed the cycle. Okay. We'll get rid of the Gix's command. Are they just a squirrel deck? They have so much food. I don't know. They must have a payoff for that amount of food because they've got 24 life sitting there. Oh, they have a bat themselves. Top deck a bat. Get rid of... It has to be Vraska opponent. If you don't get rid of Vraska, you could potentially die at any time. Now we need a removal. We do have one in the Miasma, which I'll probably use if I have to get this bat killed. But whilst we don't have a 5th mana, it doesn't matter anyway. Okay, they're getting in there still with their Cottage. Fine. We're still going to have a 5/5 Deep-Cavern Bat next turn. So that's going to gain us 5 back life. Opponent down... Oh, we're down to 9. Okay, another Vraska. Okay, I mean, they don't know we've got that. Okay, so I'm wondering whether to hold the Deep-Cavern Bat back and block this Restless Cottage, but they have a removal in their hand, so I think it might be best just to jam as much damage as we possibly can at the minute. Do 5 damage to them, gain 5 back. We can race this Restless Cottage all day long. And let's just go for Fleshgorger, and we might as well play the Bilious Skulldweller at the same time. Because we're threatening lethal on the ground, to be honest, with the Innkeeper's talent. Fleshgorger has Menace. We're kind of forcing them to kill our Deep-Cavern Bat here, and then board wipe. Okay, they've gone for Feed the Cycle, Foraging. Get rid of my bat. They only have 4 mana open, so they can't attack us again. Well, they can't even use that Gix right now. I don't know if they've played a land this turn. I reckon if they had a land, they would have just played it and immediately played that Gix's command. Okay, attacking with the bat, which they weren't going to block with anyway. We're just a top deck of a land away from winning at any point anyway, so I'm really not too concerned about what's going on. There's Wrenn. Surely that's going to grab us a land, so... can just ultimate Wrenn straight away. Get us a land. We might as well just play the bat. Grab that, Gix's command, move on with our life. Yeah, this has been a pretty nice turn for us here. Smash our opponent with the Fleshgorger and the Skulldweller. Who cares? We'll take them down to 10. Next turn we can win with our own Vraska. So the writing is on the wall, opponent. They need to find a way to deal with my Innkeeper's talent. That's the... But they're also going to have to find a way to deal with this Fleshgorger as well. So after all this, we're still on 18 life. We've taken so many hits from their land. This deck is super sweet. I'm really enjoying this. Okay, they do have a cut down to get their Gix's command back. Presumably they're going to use this to clear the board, keep their bat alive, but this isn't going to make any difference because they're going to die next turn. They obviously don't know we have a Vraska. Just ultimating Wrenn is so valuable in this deck. Unless I've missed something, I just think this card is... This talent is busted in Planeswalker decks. Liliana, okay, I mean... We'll just kill him with Vraska, but we almost had the Liliana and Wrenn combo there, which would have been fantastic, and we'll just put the opponent out of their misery and take them down with our combo deck. Alright, on the play. Yes, please. Innkeeper's talent, opening hand. Even get a Skulldweller to play. Alright, opponent, what you got? Swamp and nothing. Alright, we'll play Innkeeper's talent here and we'll get this one moving. Attack him for 2, down to 18. Takes a poison. You know, there is kind of like secret tech here with the Skulldweller and Innkeeper's talent that if they're not careful, they could just be poisoned out with a 2/2 here. They do have 2 open swamps available. They do have a Bandit's talent. Okay, well, it's a shame we don't have our Baloth, but bat for us. All right, well, we'll play that. And this hand is really... They have such a good hand. They don't have mana, though. We'll get rid of Go for the Throat. Wow, their hand is absolutely busted if they can find land and land. Sure. Opponent already on 2 Toxic. Doesn't look like they drew a land. I'm sure they would have played it already. Another talent, alright. Alright, we'll get rid of Cut Down. So there's 3 talents on the battlefield. 1 green, 2 black. Mortuary finds us land, which we need. We can up our talent here. And we'll drop a counter on our Deep-Cavern Bat. Spread the love a little bit. Attack our opponent. They're down to 10 already. We're up to 20. Did they find another land? What? Even if they found a land, what are they doing? Playing Liliana? And I'm sacking our Skulldweller? Who cares? Yep, it doesn't look like they have it. We'll just level up our talent here, and surely this is going to be GG's. Opponent down to 3. 5 Toxic. If they want to take out my bat, they're still going to be taking Toxic damage from the Skulldweller. Yeah, they did miss some lands, but I'll take the win anyway. Alright then, on the play, with a really, really nice hand here, actually. So let's go for Forest. Play Innkeeper's talent. It works really nice with Wrenn and Realmbreaker. Also, obviously, it works really nice with Vraska, but it also works well with Liliana. This is kind of like a Golgari Planeswalker style deck. Case of the Uneaten Feast and Ruin Lurker for our opponents. Looks like they are on some kind of life gain bat deck. We have our own bat though, and I think it's more superior than their Ruin Lurker bat. Long Goodbye, Sonar Strike, Dark Star Augur. Okay. Alright, well let's just nab this Long Goodbye. Gets round the ward that our bat's going to get. Now, because we've just upped our talent. So you want to upgrade your talent as soon as possible. Get it to level 4 so you're not wasting any time on that. Here comes the Augur. Pretty nice for them as it does get round our Choking Miasma. Alright, let's upgrade this talent. Let's stick to my principle here. Let's get this upgraded. Currently have a 4/4 bat, which we might as well attack with. I'm sure they'll find a way to deal with this sooner rather than later. So let's get the life gain and damage in as soon as we can. Augur finds a Edict. Okay, that deals with our bat. Sure. So Obstinate Baloth might be in our hand, and you might be thinking, what? Why is that there? It's there for the discard decks. It's a bit janky. It's also a pretty nice card just to gain some life back. You can replace that with a whole plethora of other cards, but I'm playing for against the meta right now. In an ideal world, you wouldn't play that in the deck. Another bat for us. Okay, we need a land so badly so that if we find a Vraska off the top, we just win. We can play the Baloth here. Gain some life. Make it a 6/6. I might be forced to play Wrenn and Realmbreaker and just minus it straight away. I'm just digging for Vraska and I'm digging for a land. We'll see. Opponent gets in there with their 3 creatures. That is fine. They're going to struggle to deal with my Baloth unless they have another Edict. Okay, we should draw a talent, sure. Okay, I think I'm going to play the... Wrenn and Realmbreaker. And we'll minus it. And we'll see what's going on. If we find a land, we have all sorts of things we can do. We could have ultimated it straight away. But I just don't think there's any point right now. They're longer buying our Wrenn, that's fine. Paid the ward, which they didn't need to do, as the longer buy can't be countered. No land. Wow. Okay, we'll take this Fleshgorger. I was expecting a land, and I was going to use it to cast the bat here, which I meant to cast the Skulldweller here. But yeah, we could have cast the bat instead. Yeah, a little bit mana screwed in this particular game. Innkeeper's talent, we're going to put the counter on... Let's go for the Skulldweller. Just spread the love a little bit. Yep, forces them into their longer buy, that's fine. And we will just smash. Smash for 6, point down to 11. Land off at the top of their Augur trigger. Once we get this Fleshgorger down and we start throwing some counters on it and attacking with that, this is going to be GG's a game for us. But I'm not entirely sure what the opponent can do with our boards, to be honest. They're gaining life, I understand that. We're probably going to Miasma as well, get rid of the 2/1 toughness creatures. I've kind of been holding back on that card for a second. Well, there's our 5th land, which we absolutely needed. Let's bat first. Let's see what that hidden card is in their hand. Opponent, what you got up there? Helping Hand, Sonar Strike. Alright, let's get rid of the removal spell. And we should go to combat. We should put the counter on our Deep-Cavern Bat to get this out of Miasma range. Attack the opponent. They go down to 6. We'll Miasma here. I wonder if we had an opportunity to actually win the game that turn. 4. I think we could have taken them down to 2 with the Miasma and the Talents trigger. Yeah, I don't think... I'm just trying to think. Actually, we might have been able to win there with the 2 talents and forget about the bat. Oh well. I think we're still going to win anyway. Opponent has a Darkstar Augur on the board, and we have a 3/3 bat and a 6/6 Baloth. They find a Valley Quest Caller. Okay. It's a bit of a bat lord for them. Not the best card in this situation, though, as they're going to be chumping our Baloth. And they have no attacks here. Well, they could, but I'm sure they're not going to. Yeah, well, there's Vraska off the top anyway, which is GG's. For 1 black mana, I'm not sure how they can get out of this. Just racking my brains to think what they could have. Nothing. Let's go for Vraska, and let's just win the game here. So we were always looking for that card, but I'm pretty sure we were just going to kill him with damage anyway. And I think we might have been able to just kill him the previous turn, but... Okay, so let's check the stats for this deck over on untapped.gg, and as you can see, my talent deck here went 6-0. Also went 2-1 in testing here. I showed you 5 of these games, and I brought in a game from testing because one of these games was very much a non-game, and it was, I think, one of these mono black decks. We played against 3 mono black opponents here, and in testing I also did as well. So I feel like mono black is really popular at the moment, and so is Golgari, and I'm really happy with where I went. Even though it was just 6 games, kind of felt comfortable in all of them. Bring up Arena now just to show you the deck here. Here it is. And yeah, I really am fine with this deck. Obviously I didn't lose any games, so I wouldn't make too many changes. The Baloth is a little bit janky, but I think it's absolutely fine to have 2 copies of this in this deck against the discard decks that we all seem to be facing. I popped a little sideboard here in case you wanted to add anything. My only thing that I did notice in this deck is I was struggling with lands a few times, so a card like Clifftop Lookout might be quite nice. It is a 1/2 with reach. When it ETBs, you get to reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Having reach is also quite nice when we can start popping counters on it with our talent. It's going to be a bit of a blocker there against things like bats and slickshot show-offs. Heaped Harvest was played against us. I think this card's cool as well. 3 mana artifact, food. When it ETBs, you get to search your library for a basic land. Once you sacrifice this or it leaves the battlefield, you get to find another land and gain 3 life. So that's pretty nice as well. But yeah, getting your 4th land, 5th land here is really important. Added some other cards here. Insatiable Avarice might help you look for the missing combo piece, but I quite like Pillage the Bog. You might even want to go for 4 copies of that. I've popped Tender Wild Guide here as a 2 mana play to potentially grab you some mana or a little mana dork early on to enable you to start casting your cards, but also you get to put a +1 counter on this creature. And once you have the Innkeeper talent locked up in its 4th or in its 3rd mode there, you can start getting, these can start getting quite big quite quickly. So might be something to think about. And Glistening Deluge, Phyrexian Arena, ways to grab some extra cards, and the Deluge, another board wipe. I'm really not sure about the removal in black-green at the moment. I really like Choking Miasma, but Glistening Deluge could be another option for you, just to take out those 3 toughness creatures. But I'm finding I'm playing against a lot of black decks, and the Deluge is not so good. So this was my deck. I'm really happy with it, and until I start losing some games, I'm going to make any changes, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So if you've made it this far in the video, let me know in the comments below, and also let me know what changes you might make going forward. So to check out my stats for this video and all the decks I play, the link to my untapped.gg is listed in the description, and that's where you'll also find a link to download the deck tracker for yourself. You'll get to track your stats, see the top decks being played, and maybe find a deck or 2 that you can make with your collection. It is all over there on untapped.gg. But in the meantime, thank you for watching this video, supporting the channel as we grow, and I'll catch you again in the next video.